Hi, everybody, and welcome to Headway, a show that aims to inform our audience about political issues that affect the nation, the region, and our local area. Headway will introduce you to activists, politicians, and civic-minded people who are working towards change. On this episode, I will be speaking with Laurie Sawyer, the chairperson of Attleboro's Council on Human Rights. All right, guys, like I mentioned, I'm here today with Laurie Sawyer to talk about the Attleboro Council on Human Rights, which Laurie is the chairperson of. Hello, Laurie. How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Can you just tell me, just give me a little history of the Attleboro Council on Human Rights, how it started, and how you got involved?
Well, the council actually started back in mid-90s with Mayor Dumas, and then it was sort of on hold for a little while. I asked about being on it back several years before Mayor Hero came on, and there was nothing really going on with it. So then when Mayor Hero came on, he kind of started the council, and I got a part of it at that time. So I guess maybe it was 3 years ago now. And I think the second year that I was on it, I was nominated as chair.
Nice. Can you just talk a little bit about what you guys do? What does the Attleboro Council on Human Rights do? Why do you exist?
Well, it's just that it's human rights, and everybody needs to. We all stand for human rights, for what people should be able to have, the civil rights that every person should be able to have, no matter their differences, whether they're LGBT, whether they're a different race, whether they are homeless, whether they have disability council also, but we can also work with human rights issues with the disability for people with disabilities. And we have done some things with the disability council as well.
Yeah, so I know everyone kind of, you guys are very visible because of the flag raising ceremony, which I think was soon after you came on, and it was where the Council on Human Rights kind of got reformed. That was like one of the biggest first things you guys did was the flag raising at City Hall. Do you want to talk a little bit about that and why that was important to you guys?
I absolutely. I definitely think that it's a great way for the city to show that they are accepting and supportive of LGBT people in the city and in the area in general. When I did come on, I noticed it was, I don't know if it was April or May when I actually got official. Well, I had taken my oath, and I said, well, June's coming up and it's usually Pride Month. I think we should try to make sure that we push to have a flag raising in the city. So we had kind of put that recommendation up to the mayor, and he agreed. So, and just happened that I had an extra rainbow flag at my house. And so I provided that to be put up on the flagpole each year. And it's very important, as I said, and even this year with the pandemic, we did it, but we did it inside. And it was Facebook Live instead of something where we invited everybody to come. But it still is important no matter when it is, even during a pandemic. I think that LGBT people really appreciate that as well, because they know that they're included, not excluded from the city.
So can you talk a little bit about beyond the flag raising, what else the council does for the LGBTQ plus community? Like, what else is going on? How else are you advocating? What other work is the Attleboro Council on Human Rights doing with that group?
Well, we are looking to do other things. I think in Attleboro itself, there's not a whole lot of pride things that happen usually. I mean, we're certainly looking into doing things and working with different organizations that do pride type things. We've worked with PFLAG, which is Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays, and they always come to the flag raising. We've been a part of that. And so really haven't done a whole lot of actual events for them, but we, just to make sure that everybody knows that they have a place here. There was not really graffiti, but stickers that were put up in the middle of the city. At some point, I want to say fall or something last year, that we really got involved in making sure that those were taken down, and just to let people know that we won't accept having graffiti or discrimination like that in the city.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about, I don't know if I wanted to hop to this so quickly, but I'll just do it anyway. So you have a lot of the work you guys do is anti-discrimination and anti-hate crime. So do you want to talk a little bit about how you have a way where people can report incidences of those activities on your website? You have a form for people to fill out, and just talk a little bit about why that's there, the type of incidents that would require for someone to fill that out, and then what would happen, like if someone filled that form out and the council saw it, what would then happen?
All right. So the form right now is on the city website under the Council on Human Rights. So you just go to the City of Attleboro website and look for different councils and commissions. And on the bottom of the page, there's a link where you have to print out the form. We're looking to get things done a little differently so that it's easier, but you'd have to print it out and then send it in to the City Hall, to our mailbox. And so types of things that people would put on the form would be, say, employment discrimination or housing discrimination. We had somebody who had problems with housing, and they gave us some information, and we then would look at it and see what kind of resources we could provide for the person. We'd also make sure that in certain cases the police were involved. If the mayor needed to be involved, we can certainly recommend that that mayor is involved as well. And we just kind of make sure that things happen and they get sort of an answer and resources so that they can be sure to get everything they need in this situation, whether it's, discounted Section 8 housing, or if they, and find a way to get there. If you can't get to the forms or you don't know how to get Section 8 housing, we can help them with those resources. And again, police resources too, because if they don't feel like they've been able to get to the police, we can help with that too. So that's kind of what our incident form. And like I said, we're trying to do things a little bit better with that. We have space on a Facebook page. We don't have a physical website of our own. It's within the city website, but we want to have a form that you can actually go into electronically and hit a submit button that's going to go to our website, our email, so that it will come directly to us instead of having to go through the city hall.
Yeah, and people can, and people who fill out the form, they can stay completely anonymous. I mean, not necessarily anonymous to you, but anonymous to any. There's no way any information would get out to the public in any way if they don't want it to.
Right. No, it would go to our meetings and we would review it, but that's we're not going to post it anywhere or make it public. No, it would definitely be anonymous, and we would just help with the situation at hand.
Yeah. Can you talk about some of the work you're doing with other groups around the city of Attleboro, or even in other communities, nonprofits, there's other city organizations, whoever, to help kind of further the goals of your committee?
Yeah, so we did a library session. We had people register, and it was on discrimination, what types of discrimination there are, not just LGBT, but types of discrimination, and how in a state you can report that. We had somebody come from the Attorney General's office in Boston to come down and help out with that. Right now, the hot issue everywhere is racism, and we are a co-sponsor with the library's sessions that they've had. We had 2 sessions already. Another one's coming up this month. I think the last one, but I don't know if they'll have more. But we're a co-sponsor with them. They have facilitators who facilitate those sessions and help to talk to people about racism, what it is, the difference between not being racist and being anti-racist, and really knowing what the system is and how racist it is and can be. And so it's very important for, it's a great session and very helpful, I thought. So yeah, that's one of the things that we're doing with racism topic.
Yeah. So so that's the Neighbors in Dialogue discussions, or is that something?
Yes,
yeah.
it.
Okay. So there's going to be more of them, right? So there was one, but there's more coming up, or am I wrong?
I believe they are going to have more of those, but there's one more this month that's already scheduled. It's on September 16th.
Okay, great. And is there does each one have a topic, or is it just kind of general, about, what you were just talking about, just general, discrimination and stuff?
Yeah, the first one had more of a topic where they suggested that you either read a book or you listen to a book about racism, what it is. Mm-hmm. In this last one that they did, they talk about redlining and what that meant to communities and to people of color, and where they can buy their houses and things like that. A lot of people don't understand that. I mean, I really didn't until I went through that session, and it was very eye-opening to see, that we all live through this system that has a lot of racism in it.
Yeah. Can you talk about some of the work that, I guess I consider it advisory work. You can tell me if that's wrong or right. But working with the police department along the lines of racial discrimination and just how they deal with minority communities, especially right now where that's a big issue.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a big hot topic. We've had meetings with the mayor and the police chief to kind of talk about, what types of things that we as administration for the city can do to help prevent racism. We were looking at reviewing the policies. There's a policy review theme. It's called 8 Can't Wait. Basically, different policies or things that should be in policies, such as body cameras, such as having a line in the policies that ban chokeholds, such as I don't have the thing right in front of me, so I can't read them off to you, but those types of things in the policies to make sure that it's preventing racism from happening in the police department. Also, that's kind of an advisory thing that we're doing for the mayor and the police chief, to kind of just, and there's stuff that's happening, which is great, and I'm really excited about how it's been working with our group and with the mayor.
Yeah. So beyond that, so you're also you advise the mayor on all things that have to do with human rights. And so do you want to talk about some other stuff that you've had that the group has discussed with the mayor in the past and or you plan on discussing with him in the future?
Well, there's a lot of different human rights things that happen, all the time. I mean, we, whether there's things that we can do with the mayor or not, but we have put, we have a suggestion of doing, Human Rights Day and putting different events that we want to do. And we'd have to, of course, give a suggestion or recommendation to the mayor to see if we can actually do them, whether we have reading of the Human Rights Act in public so that people know exactly what the whole thing is. Or I just remember that was one of the things that we were thinking of doing. Other advisory type things, I mean, we kind of just to go with what the hot topics are right now. What I've mentioned to you, those are the biggest things that we've done each year, specifically the rainbow flag raising and now with the racism stuff that we've been working on.
Yeah. So are you, is the council, do you meet with organizations that specifically serve certain communities? Besides PFLAG, you talked about that, but do you meet with groups that are service the African American community in Attleboro or service like the Cambodian community in Attleboro and discuss like their like some of their concerns about human rights, or is it more of a, you know, you're open to hearing those things and you just kind of leave yourself open to like any concerns that people have?
It's more that we're open to those topics. And I think it's a great idea if we were to work with groups that are in community. That's great. If there are items that issues that they have in those areas, I'm sure we'd be happy to work with them to help to create events or to make just create so that people know what's going on.
Yeah. So
did I just freeze? Because
you froze for like a second. Were you still talking? I'm sorry, because the freeze might have
no,
made...
I ended, but my I had a notification saying I was unstable. Sorry.
Yeah, it did for a second, but it seemed like it was okay. So we talked a little bit before the show about just like the human rights of the homeless community, and that's something that doesn't get brought up by many people very often. So any work that you guys are either doing now or planning or thinking about doing in the future having to do with some of the concerns of the local homeless community? I know there's a pretty healthy sized population of homeless people in Attleboro. So any work, have any organizations talked to you guys about that, or any advocates come to you, or are there members of your council that are just really passionate about that, who have brought it up in the meetings?
Yeah, there have been some people who are very passionate about the homeless community and what we can do for them. And I know that we've talked about it several times about the community. And I think that right now we haven't gotten to that point where we're going to work on them. But I know, like I said, we have things that we're going to be talking about. You had mentioned before the Homeless Bill of Rights that Rhode Island has, and I think that's a wonderful idea to try to figure out how we can work that in to the city, to maybe even recommending it to the state level.
Yeah, definitely. So what are some of the future initiatives that the council wants to work on? That's things you haven't been able to get to yet because you're, fairly new, and some of the loftier goals of the Attleboro Council on Human Rights.
Well, loftier goals. Well, let's see. I know that we were talking just about every meeting. We have other topics that we haven't been able to get to because we just have so many passionate people about that work on the issues that we're working on. I know there's so many different things talking about either helping people who are transgender and their health protections, and the children's release from family detention centers, different things that we see in the news. We're always working on at least making things people aware. We have a social media on Instagram and on Facebook, and one of our members is our social media coordinator and looks for those types of things that they can put up on social media so people can be aware that way. And then as things are local enough, then we are able to bring them to our meetings. Yeah.
Did the council have any, were you involved at all in any of the Black Lives Matter protests events that were in Attleboro? Was there any, did the committee go, or sorry, the council, did the council go, or members of the council go, or was there, any involvement in that kind of stuff?
Yeah, there were several of us that went. Yeah. It wasn't something that we decided on as a group, but many of us went individually. We all went to not all, but several of us went to the one at Capron Park. There's been a couple of them at Murray Church that we've also gone to. And a couple of people, because they felt strongly, went to some of the counter protest things that were for the Blue Lives Matter ones, but which they're able to do. That's their right. But so yes, there are definitely several different things that people have been involved in for the Black Lives Matter stuff.
Yeah. So I have one just popped into my head real quick. So with your incident reports, I just thought of something. I was wondering if this is something someone would do that for, or if they should just call the police or whatever. If someone saw, like, let's say racist graffiti or anti-LGBTQ plus graffiti somewhere, would that be something that they would contact the council on, or is that something they should just go to the police about? Like, what's the protocol there?
I probably would say they should go to the police just because it's a more immediate action that they could do. If it's something more long-term, only because I think the way that our incident report, being something you have to print out and mail, is going to take much longer than going to the police. And that graffiti could be gone by then, but it still has that impact that I think would have more of a immediate action, which might be better through the police.
Gotcha. Do you still want to know about those incidents just so you guys have records of when it happens? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be great. And several, at least 2 of my members, and they're mine, but the council's members, have seen some graffiti and taken pictures of it, and had then also brought it to the police so that they know what's going on. And we put some of the information on Facebook so that people are aware that those things are happening, and that we're also involved in not keeping it from happening, but making people aware.
Yeah. And I know, like, every few years there's always a round, actually probably every year or so, there's a round of like racist, like white supremacist things that start getting like mailed to like random people's houses, or dropped in there, or not even mailed, like dropped in people's mailboxes or posted places. So same situation with that stuff.
Yeah, it would definitely be a police issue. I don't know. I haven't seen those, thank goodness, but it would probably be more of a police issue than our council. Although, again, yes, we would like to know about it. So maybe it's something we can work with the police or with residents to know or be able to do something about.
Yeah. So are you, is the council full? Do you have all the members you need, or are you still have any open spots, or how do people want to get involved?
Yeah, actually, because it's been so popular recently, we had 9 members on the council, and people have left or had to stop going to the meetings for one reason or another. And so we were just getting to the 9, but I guess there've been so many people that have wanted to be a part of it that Mayor Hero has actually extended the amount of people that are going to be on the council. So now we're going to be up to 15. We have several, as I said, people who have wanted to be a part of it, and we're in contact with them. And basically the way that it goes is if they want to be a part of it, they can contact one of us, or they can contact the mayor directly. What basically happens is they have to write a letter of interest or intent that why they want to be part of the council, kind of spell that out a little bit, what they've done with human rights before, and why they're interested. And then the mayor brings me a couple people that he thinks might be good fit, and then I also contact them. I have for the last few people, and then we decide on bringing them in or not. It's basically the mayor's final choice, but he kind of decides who he's going to appoint for the council.
Okay. And do those appointees have to be like approved by the city council, or is it just the mayor just appoints them and that's it?
No, they have to be go in front of the city council, and I don't know what exactly it's called. It's not really approved, but it's brought before them to be somebody who's going to be on the Council on Human Rights, and then they have to take the oath of office before they're official parts of our council.
Oh, okay, right. So if people want to get involved, so if it's when it fills up, or as it's filling now, if people still want to be involved, can they come? Are the meetings open to the public, or are there other ways that they could just kind of find out what you guys are doing?
Yeah, the meetings are open to the public. We have to post them with the city clerk for each meeting. They're once a month, unless we have special meetings, which has happened recently. But they can definitely come to our meetings. Right now, of course, we're doing it by Zoom. We haven't gotten in-person meetings back yet, but they are open to the public, and through the city council, they can get the link to get to the meetings.
All right, great. Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on.
Anything happened? Yeah. I'm sorry. We're always happy to have any visitors come to our meetings and to listen or to or to give any input for what's happening for human rights.
Awesome. And do you guys record the meetings, or is it just, or no?
Well, we're doing it by Zoom. We have recorded them, yes.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And when we are doing it in person, of course, we take minutes, and then those are given to city clerk.
Okay. Just so people could like see it. So with the Zoom ones, people can still watch it later if they want to find out what you guys are up to. And all right, awesome. Great. Anything else you want to add? Anything else you want to let people know?
Just that I'm so glad to be part of this group, and this is a wonderful way to get people to know all about the Council on Human Rights. And it's human rights are civil rights, and everybody should see that. We're all one. We're all part of one race, and I think thank you very much for having me for this.
Oh yeah, no problem. Thank you for coming on. All right, and thank you everyone for watching, and please stay tuned for another episode of Headway soon.